let's get started with the next module, organizational influences and project lifecycle. So here, what we have is how the organization structure, it influences the project. Coming to organizational structure, so here, as you can see, you have 6 types of organization structures. So at one end of spectrum is projectized organization, and the other end is functional organization. So projectized organization we just discussed, like contractors and consultants, then engineering firms. These have the usually projectized organization structure because the main job they do is essentially project in nature, and hence they are more towards projectized organization. Functional organizations are the ones wherein a lot of operational work goes on, and they have more work towards operation, which is operational in nature than in project in nature. So essentially, the functions could be in manufacturing industry, right? You may have welding, you may have a lot of department based on the kind of work they do, and that's how they get the functions. So they are functional organization. If you are performing a project in functional organization, then you will have as a functional manager, you will have more authority when you are in functional organization and performing a project. As you go towards projectized organizational structure, you'll have if you are a project manager, you'll have more authority. But if you are a project manager and working in a functional organizational structure, you will have lesser authority, and it will be shared. Rather, you may be just expediter and those kind of roles you will be playing, rather, and coordinator kind of roles you will be playing. Whereas here you will have resources, finances available to you directly. Here you will be like at the mercy of function. But we'll see. Every organizational structure. Yeah, Mangesh, I'm coming to that. We just started, so we covered just functional and projectized. I haven't started with matrix. We'll be having the examples also in coming slides. So rest assured, your questions will be answered. His question was, what is the difference between weak matrix and function? I'll get to the point. So what happens is in a lot of times you have a matrix structure wherein you have mix of functional and projectized organization. So matrix can be of 3 types: strong matrix, balanced matrix, and weak matrix. So in strong matrix organizational structure, it tends to be more closer toward projectized than the functional organization. And project manager will have better authority compared to the functional manager, but little lesser than project. So you can see the project manager's authority goes up as you go up from functional structure to projectized structure. Okay. There is a question. Any examples of functional organization? Yes, I can give you a functional organization example. For example, you have most of the automotive industry, and manufacturing industry, they will have functional organizational structure. A lot of so what does it mean is what happens is they get for example, take an example of automotive industry wherein you are having assembly, wherein you are just assembling, that could be one, assembling all the parts together and making a car or a two-wheeler could be example, which is a specified function, and they do only repetitive work, which is operational in nature, of assembling the things together. So that's where the advantage of this is, since you are doing the repetitive work and same work, you are supposed to be getting better and better and master in that function. So that is the advantage of the old industries. They all started mainly with the functional kind of industry. So a lot of government organizations still have the functional organizational structure. So those are the examples of functional organization. So coming to the projectize, we already saw the example. So Mangesha's functional, we also saw those examples, manufacturing and those kind of industry. Coming to nowadays, even those we talk as functional organization, they may have converted into the matrix. So we have weak matrix, balanced matrix, and strong matrix. So we'll see how about IT and software industry. Do they fall under what category? So it again depends. It depends from let's say you have a consultancy firm. So consultancy software. If you are in software consultancy, your main bread and butter is based on project. So you will be projectized organization. Whereas if you are, let's say, IT and software industry, wherein so you can't say that one organization is only functional, other organization is only projectized. They may maybe mix of the two, projectized as well as functional, the combination of two. So from my whatever IT and software industry I have seen, they usually will have organizational structure which is matrix in nature rather than either projectized or functional. And most of the industry now is moving towards matrix function. Okay, all right. So Srinidhi is okay with the answer. Okay, fine. Coming back, so these are only 5 models. What is the 6th one? It is a composite organizational structure, which is essentially a combination. I'm rushing through this slide. We'll have the every one of these organizational structure explained in detail. So just be patient. Everything will be explained. Okay. So we covered project managers, authority varies based on type of organizational structure and so on. Organizational communications, I think this is a simple one. An important factor in project success in the face of globalization is very important, the organizational communication. So what are the factors it provides, or what are the ways we are being provided? It could be email, which is what we use very largely, texting, instant messaging. So it may have, your organization may provide with instant messenger, which is a part of your organization, and you can use it for communication. Social media, video and web conferences. So in here we have these 5 important organizational structure being compared with respect to the project characteristics. So project manager's authority. So if you are performing a project in functional organization, you will have little or none authority. So you'll be essentially expediter or a coordinator in that project. So we'll see why it is in one of the examples. Then weak matrix. So one of the questions that was asked by Mangesh or Srinidhi, I don't remember, let me check. Yeah, so Mangesh only. What is the difference between weak matrix and this is the difference? Basically, weak matrix is little better than functional matrix, okay, but it is very close to functional matrix. Okay, so you can see, as you can see, most of the things are sometimes the project manager's authority is none for functional organization, whereas weak matrix will have at least limited authority. So that's the only difference. Resource availability is also limited. Here little or none, sometimes none. I mean, he will not have any, project manager will not have any authority towards, will not have any resource availability. So he is essentially coordinator or expediter. Who controls the budget? Functional manager controls the budget in functional management. Project manager's role, part-time. Project management administrative staff. So essentially this is project management team who helps project manager with project management activities. Again, their role is part-time. Weak matrix, something similar, right? Who controls the budget? Functional manager again. You come towards the balance matrix, it is low to moderate. So some authority is given to project manager. He has some authority towards resource. He has some resources available to him, which is low to moderate. Who controls the budget? Here both project manager as well as functional manager, they share the responsibility towards controlling the budget. Here, first time, your project manager's role becomes full-time, but your administrative staff may be part-time, rather is part-time. In strong matrix, as is expected, it is very close to your projectized organization, wherein you have project manager's authority is high to almost total, resource availability high to total. Project manager controls the project budget completely. His role is full-time, as well as his project management team, administrative staff is also full-time. So strong matrix, the last 3 points are same. Only resource availability, instead of moderate to high, high to almost total. So essentially the degree varies, but it is very close to project-based organization. Now, moving on to the next slide, still we'll be covering, so just rest assured you'll have sufficient examples before we sign off on organization, because we expect a lot of questions on this organizational structure related, very interesting questions, and rest assured we'll have the complete coverage. So coming to organizational structural function, functional organizations are made up of unit or division based on the types of business and their associated. So you can see here the shaded boxes, this and this, they represent the staff who is engaged in project activities. Okay. Now, however, the project coordination is happening at this level. What does this mean? If, let's say this is marketing, this is human resource, this is IT. Some IT project is going on, and this person needs inputs from IT, IT manager. IT is here. Information technology manager is here. He's a functional manager. You have marketing manager. IT manager, in the project, this staff member who is developing some product, he needs inputs from marketing management. He can't go and talk to this staff, neither he can go and talk to this function manager. The project coordination is happening here. So he has to pass his request over here, then it goes to the function manager. Function manager, marketing manager, based on the request, he may have to come here. Again, this staff directly doesn't come here. Again, it goes back. So you can see that the project coordination is happening at the functional manager level in your functional organization. So the question is, isn't it inefficient? Yes, it is. But what you have to understand and appreciate is the industry in which this is used. These are low-key projects which doesn't have the huge impact on, most of the times, huge impact on the outcome of or the organization. So in case, so as I told you, this is a theoretical structure. It may be used even today in many organizations, but a lot of organizations are matrix in nature. Rather than, so they some part of the organization they will be using the functional organizational structure. So, for example, maybe your finance could be functional organization structure. So some departments will be functional in nature. Other departments could be project. So that there could be a combination. Now moving to the next one. Any questions so far on functional? We are going to cover everything, all the structures, organization structures. Coming to the organization structure functional, the key characteristics here, there is a clear reporting hierarchy and communication channel. So very clear. Skills are specific to the staff in a department. Project manager may be known as a project coordinator or team leader, okay, or expediter. Projects or project team are specific to the department. Communication between departments flow through functional manager down to the project team, the way I explained. So this is where essentially project manager will be reporting into the functional manager here, obviously. And here another factor is at the end of the project, the team member has home. That means that is the biggest advantage. Rather, that's how this structure has started. Earlier, there were not many functions with respect to the project. So, at the end of the project, there is no home if you are not in a functional structure. So, if you are in a department, let's take an example of IT. I think that's what one of the questions I heard last time, right? So in IT, let's say you are part of mobile division. You are part of, let's say, finance division. You are part of. So what is it? It is a function. Okay, finance is a function in your IT department. So any projects related to finance will be done by the finance. The idea is when you are working as a function, your expertise in that will be very high. Telecom could be another vertical, which is a function, and it can be a department and it can be become a functional structure. So in that, when you have a project, again, it can be managed, in various ways. Again, I think you understand so far, the functional organization. Anyway, now how about IT and IOK? Which I hope, yes, Srinidhi is already okay. Now coming to the projectize. We saw that contractors, civil contractors, then consultants, these are the guys who have the main project as a revenue generation model. Hence, what happens is those organizations by default adopt the projectized structure. So they have project manager. So project coordination happens amongst this. So you have a project, right? So your project manager has full authority over the financial resources, even staff, and so on. So there is a buy-in directly from the staff, and since it is direct reporting, the project coordination is better. The results are very good with respect to the project. Okay. So what are the key characteristics? PM has complete or close to complete power over the project team. He has a full administrative staff to help expedite the project. PM works full time. He also works full time. Loyalties are formed towards the project and not to the functional manager. So that's the biggest advantage in projectized organization. Moving to the structure, so it is blend of essentially functional and projectized organization, weak, balanced, and strong matrix, which we'll see in coming slide. So weak matrix, essentially here, weak matrix structure maps closely to a functional structure. Project team may come from different departments, but the project manager reports directly to a specific functional manager. So here, again, shaded boxes represent staff engaging project activities. But as you can see, in functional organizational structure, the project coordination was happening at the functional manager level. But here, at least, project coordination is happening at this level or the staff level. So let's say he's a project coordinator or expediter, right? So in that case, at least he can talk to this guy directly rather than going all the way through the managers, which is time consuming. And this structure gives better opportunity to essentially perform a project essentially. Now, balance matrix has many of the attributes as a weak matrix, but the project manager has more time and power regarding the project. We already saw the differences and similarity. The balance matrix has time accountability issue for all the project team members, since their functional managers will want reports on their time spent on the project. So here also project coordination is better. Here balance matrix, project manager is called project manager, not expediter or just a staff. And functional manager and project manager share the budget related responsibility and other responsibilities. Here the only problem you can see that what could be the example of this? Again, IT manager and let's say marketing, finance. Here again the home is there for finance staff, and the loyalties of this staff. So if two competing activities come, he will obviously he will be loyal towards functional manager compared to project manager. So, but there is some authority given to him, so he can always escalate and all that. But in general, the understanding is that the loyalty still remains here, but the work gets in better fashion. Strong matrix. Here, many attributes of project team exist, but project manager gains the power and time when it comes to project work. So, project team may most of times will be reporting into him for the project duration, and essentially the staff that is coming on board will be they will have more towards time available towards the project. So again, comparison between the three matrix structures. So in weak matrix, the title could be coordinator, project leader. Balanced and strong, it is project manager. Focus, it is split between project and functional in weak matrix. Balanced matrix, more towards project work. Strong matrix, again project work. Authority, complete in strong matrix, balanced or shared in balanced matrix, and minimal in weak matrix. Time, part-time on project, full-time on project for balance and strong matrix. For weak matrix, project manager report into functional manager. Here balance, functional manager, but shares power for a project. So he is reporting into him, functional manager, but from project perspective, he shares the power. And in strong matrix, he reports into manager of project. So there could be a head for the this project department, projects department, and he will report them. So that's the strong matrix. Now comes the last one. In composite organization, a special project is created that consists of talent from many different departments. Such projects teams reports directly to a project manager and will work on high priority project for its duration. So here there are composite, as you can see, it adopts two different matrix. So for example, there is an important project going on in an organization, then it will adopt, let's say, strong matrix. So this is where the project coordination happened for project A. So this is a high visibility project, important for from the strategic perspective for the organization, and that's where this project A coordination happens. Whereas project B is less important from strategy perspective, and if it gets delayed or it is not going to have big impact from the strategy perspective. But sometime it needs to be done or completed. So here weak structure is adopted. So you can see there is no project manager for this project B. Coordination is happening here. So that's how you have the composite structure, which adopts two or more organizational structures for its projects. Depending on the situation, important projects, they will go for strong matrix, and for medium importance, they may go for balanced, and less important, weak. So that's how they do. So many organization structure include strategic and middle management and operational level. The project manager may interact with all three levels depending on factors such as importance of project, degree of project management maturity, and project management systems, etc.